Okay, we're now on YouTube. And let's see.
Cathy, does that link just show up then on our main page?
Okay, we're now on YouTube.
I'd like to call this meeting to order.
Show up then on our main page.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I have the roll call, please, Mrs. Reed?
Stands one nation,
Okay, Lauren C. Slack,
Here.
Dale Hine,
Here.
Jillian Emmert,
Here.
Jason Bashaw,
Here.
Stephen Becker, Sean McGinley,
Here.
Dwayne Dietrich,
Here.
Donald Panto,
Here.
Lauren C. Slack,
Here.
and Carol Cunningham.
Here. We'll move on to number 4, election of board treasurer. I nominate Donald Panto. Any other nominations? Hearing none, I'll close the nominations. Say the name of Donald Panto when you're called. Your name is called.
Jason Bashaw,
Donald Panto,
Jillian Emmert,
Donald Panto.
Sean McGinley,
Donald Panto.
Wayne Dietrich,
Donald Panto.
Dale Hine,
Donald Panto.
Donald Panto,
I'll abstain, thank you.
Lauren C. Slack,
Donald Panto.
and Carol Cunningham.
Donald Panto. Congratulations, Don Panto.
Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome.
Excuse me, could someone please confirm if you're seeing the agenda up on the screen right now?
Yes, we are.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
I am.
good.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to number 5, election of board secretary. I nominate Jason Bashaw. Any other nominations? Hearing none, I'll close the nominations. Please say the name Jason Bashaw when your name is called.
Wayne Dietrich,
Jason Bashaw.
Jason Bashaw,
I abstain.
Dale Hine,
Jason Bashaw.
Lauren C. Slack,
Jason Bashaw.
Jillian Emmert,
Jason Bashaw.
Donald Panto,
Jason Bashaw.
Sean McGinley,
Jason Bashaw.
and Carol Cunningham.
Jason Bashaw. Congratulations, Jason.
Thank you very much, board.
Congrats. Congrats.
I have one question here, Mr. Nair. I was appointed assistant secretary. Does that have to be done again, or can that be done later?
Well, this is as good a time as any.
I nominate Dale Hine as the Assistant Secretary. Any other nominations? If not, the nominations are closed. Say the name Dale Hine when your name is called.
Donald Panto,
Dale Hine,
Wayne Dietrich,
Dale Hine,
Jillian Emmert,
Dale Hine,
Sean McGinley,
Dale Hine,
Dale Hine,
I'll abstain.
Lauren Cieslak,
Dale Hine,
Jason Bashaw,
Dale Hine.
and Carol Cunningham.
Dale Hine. Congratulations, Dale.
Congratulations.
congratulations.
We had no executive session this evening. Presentation, agenda, audience input on agenda.
So at this point, what happens, Cathy is receiving any emails via the
Okay.
board meeting comments at cattysd.org. So if Cathy, you've received anything that is relative to the agenda, you could let us know now.
There is nothing.
Thank you.
Moving into number 8, administration board discussion and reports, academics and education, Dr. Lutz Demling.
Good evening. The Academics Committee meeting was held on Wednesday, May 6th. And during that meeting, we provided updates and shared information related to the ELA program adoption, the Continuity of Education program, the Catasauqua High School Improvement Plan, and the Future Ready Index. Additionally, we discussed a new personal finance course that we're looking to implement at the high school in the fall of 2021. And this course is on the agenda this evening to be approved as a graduation requirement. And that's all I have.
Thank you. B, finance, Mr. Spengler.
Okay, thank you. I will attempt to be brief since a lot of the information regarding budget is still at this point subject to change and some more clarification over the next 30 days. But I would like to go through kind of where we're at right now from a couple months ago. So Wayne, if you would start that presentation. So tonight's presentation, I put together kind of a classic look with some slides, but I also put in some pictures, number one, to keep your interest, because budget isn't always the most exciting thing, but also to kind of highlight some of the things that we have been doing and that things that have been occurring throughout the district. So Wayne, are you showing that? Do you want to do?
Yeah, you should see that on the screen right now.
Can you do the, yeah, whatchamacallit, the view, the present view, sorry,
mode.
presentation view?
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. It's all good. Just as a little bit larger. Thank you.
Okay.
So this is really just the introductory page, but you see some of the cool things that are happening throughout the district there. You've got some, you know, elementary teacher activities. You've got middle school spirit week. You've got middle school teachers on there in the midst of instruction early in the morning. You also have seen through some of the social media that we are highlighting students and their next level plans, their post, you know, post-baccalaureate plans here. We also have some elementary activities highlighted there. We have college application video, Zoom videos and things like that. So a lot of things that are happening. You see an email or a post there from Mr. Schnug. I'm reminding kiddos to check their emails and things like that. So a lot of different activities occurring. Wayne, thank you. General goals. This is, so I kind of built this off of our March presentation, which was right prior to closing in this whole mess. So I've updated items since then. We try to base always our, you know, budget decisions based on the needs assessment from a couple years ago and then input from everyone. We try to reflect on safety and security. Academic offerings and class size are addressed within this. The arts integration. So we were originally looking at a full-blown additional arts like academy program. We are going to develop that program, but we're not necessarily going to do the staffing this year for that. But the key is that we develop it. Can you just go back, Wayne?
Oh, sure.
That's okay, I'm sorry. Stadium project, annual facility projects, also being fiscally responsible. This particular budget reflects, and I have this asterisk because it's a little confusing. It does reflect a zero tax increase. However, as you're aware, board, we are in a dual county school district. When you are in the midst of a dual county district, there's an annual rebalancing that occurs. Lois and I have been working on that, and we've been talking with Dave Nur also about how we can minimize that rebalancing, but it's difficult. I mean, but we have to rebalance. So we are in the midst of doing that. So even though it's a zero tax increase, what happens is the wealth of Lehigh County, the growth there does cause a little imbalance, which creates a slight tax increase in Lehigh County and actually a tax decrease in Northampton County at this point. So just telling you that right up front, that's where it is on the 2028 form through PDE. So that's where we're at with that. This budget does reflect revenue adjustments as we try to use our crystal ball to project revenues. And we attempt to proactively prepare for the future. We do anticipate our deficit being totally eliminated and increasing our fund balance. Next one, Wayne, please. Thank you. Just a quick chart here of, just the kind of the annual reminder of where our district money comes from, or where the money to operate our school district comes from. The vast majority, 66+%, is local revenues. State is now 30.1%. There was a time when that was over 50%. That is not the case anymore. And then federal comes in with a small piece of 2.5%. Anyway, some of the pictures on this one, you see Chalk the Walk. Our SROs, Officer Best and Officer Potak, have been busy out there encouraging our kiddos and families to chalk their walks and then post it on social media. I think that picture down below is an elementary project, which was based on an artist who uses all natural materials. So kiddos were doing all natural types of art projects as just one of the many, many projects that have been occurring. Revenue side of things here, we did reflect an increase in interim tax. We do anticipate in Hanover Township. We do anticipate some additional Title I money since the federal government significantly increased Title I funding in its budget. We reduced earned income tax by over 100,000. We decreased parking tax by about 75,000. We adjusted a local real estate tax by 870,000. That is relative to the prior budget. So that reflects less collection rate and just less collection. So that is included here. It does reflect the most current assessed values, or we get those on a regular basis, but it does reflect the most current that we have. We did reduce facility rental. We reduced basic ed funding and special ed funding, and also transportation subsidy. Like I said, the dilemma is for all of us right now is it's really crystal ball thinking. I think it's somewhat responsible what we're looking at here. I think it's reflective of some of the PASBO and Lehigh Valley ASBO input. And that's where we're at right now. So you see the impact there. It's really $1.172 million impact. But fortunately, we have a couple positives. So you end up, the net impact is, almost $1 million, $952,000 in adjusted revenue from our initial budget. These pictures here, you see some of our lunch. These were some of our early lunch distributions at Sheckler. It has been tremendous. I don't even know the numbers, but we're like 7,000 student meals. through C3P, hundreds, if not lowest, 1,000 meals that have been distributed out to families. So it's been a tremendous community response. I'm proud to, be part of this. Wayne, thank you. So I went into like what's still included in this budget. So you have an idea. Regular cost of doing business. We do need to reflect PSERS, which is the pension system increase, which is not, a significant, or let me just say, it's not as significant as we've experienced over the last 10 years on an annual basis. Not sure what the future is going to bring us with PSERS and the economy, but it's something we'll have to plan for in the future. Health benefits are reflected. Charter school tuition, we are now at like $199,700 some dollars. So almost $2 million that we are now budgeting for charter school tuition. There's an increase. It's not something we can ignore. We know it's going to be that much, so we need to include that. It does include IU21, LTRI-C, and LCTI. I will tell you that originally the IU21 and the LTRI-C budgets did not have increases for us, I'm pretty sure. LCTI did have an increase, but they've adjusted their budget back to no increase as well. So that's just a recent development there for LCTI. So I do applaud them for that. This budget does still include replacing all retirees. It does also add 2 teaching positions. Right now, we're looking at 4th and 8th grade, if I'm correct. Include the originally increased offerings and electives at the high school. Adam presented a few months ago. We do have the additional school resource officer for our safety and security. It does maintain our mental and behavioral health services. We have 4 professionals right now. It includes a stadium project and that debt service that's associated with that, since we already did that, that borrowing. The transportation fleet replacement plan, it maintains that. It's important to maintain our vehicles. So we've had that plan in place for 10 or 11 years, and it has worked well for us. It does include middle school locker replacement in 7th grade. I think 2 classroom carpet replacements at the middle school, Sheckler sidewalks, high school doors, and gym bleacher seats. So, taking care of some of those issues. Karen the Sousaphone, some funds there for to get Karen upgraded. So technology district-wide, we have the iPads. We will be on a mission to have the full 1-to-1 iPads throughout the district. Phone system update. Middle school STEAM technology, high school Apple TVs, and the online kindergarten registration and form submission, for lack of a better term there, but it really allows us to do everything online. Pictures there, that's really just Mr. Dauberman with some of his Student of the Month kiddos. We miss that. We really miss doing that, recognizing those kiddos. That just brings the reality of what we're all about every month when we get to see and hear from our students, what they love about our schools and attending our schools. The top is, believe it or not, that occurred on Friday, March 13th in the morning. That was a debriefing after the active shooter drill at Sheckler Elementary. So you see a lot of our community folks in there who were part of that whole, and county and everybody else who was part of that drill. So that happened right before our shutdown. So anyway, just wanted to bring that to your attention. Budget expense adjustments. I kind of categorize them from non-programmatic and programmatic. We have reduced the budgetary reserve to $50,000. Use some different funding for our various projects. Vehicle lease, that was reduced, but we benefited from lower rates anyway on the lease, so we can still do exactly what we were going to do and just save dollars there. Some oil fuel savings, business office restructuring as we go through with that. Programmatically, kudos to Christina, working with her and reducing our budget area there, but still maintaining our initiatives, which is valuable. Obviously, we don't want to cut that to the bone where we can't provide, new, updated, and online types of resources. Imagine Learning, we have grant funded. So kudos to Christina and Cathy on that. The new performing arts program staffing component, we're just going to push that back. We're still going to develop the program, so we're ready to roll with that if we wish to do that. Community relations, we cut some of the dollars that we had for that, but we'll still do what we need to. Less new staffing. So we were originally in March when we presented on March 13, 12, 11, 10, on March 10th. We talked about 4 additional teaching positions, and we will now do 2. And then just some miscellaneous adjustments. So when you look at those total adjustments, we adjusted the budget expense side down about $918,000 to match up with the lessened revenues. Again, it's a little crystal ball right now. We have not reflected CARES revenue in this budget. We don't know if we're going to reflect CARES revenue in this budget because we don't have real solid guidance yet from PDE on when are those dollars coming and how should we account for them. So, over the next 30 days, I'm sure we'll have some refining to both sides of this budget. What you see here picture-wise is the I Can Do It was, I think I got that off of a Sheckler post somewhere. And what we do regularly, I know Lauren had mentioned prior to the meeting how I think it was our counselors at Sheckler did it was kind of a teacher appreciation thing, right, Lauren, about by grade level. So it was a really cool kudos. So we do a lot of things, and our staff does a lot to just like keep our kiddos engaged and our staff, because it's different for everyone. And obviously there's quite a bit of learning occurring, but it's so important to keep our kiddos connected and engaged with our school district. And our buildings are all doing a tremendous job with that. We've done, the middle school virtual spirit week, a high school virtual spirit week. I could go on and on, but it's all part of what we're doing. And I'm really just blown away by everything that's been happening. You also see the 2020 lit up scoreboard at Alumni Field. That was a Thomas, I think that was at least league, if not more than league, really, in which that was all of the stadiums throughout the area were lit up with the 2020 for the class of 2020 on there. So that was something that was really cool, and that was all over social media. So it was a way of honoring our seniors. Expenditures by category. Here we have just kind of a graphic representation of how we spend our money. So obviously a huge amount goes to instruction and instructional support. And then we have a small parts that go to, student services.
It would be our athletics, our
student activities.
Student activities.
Thank you. I must have erased activities when I edited this. And then debt service, things like that. So you kind of see which is appropriate. Instruction and instructional support, all those areas, that's the majority of your budget, as it should be. Here you see, that's Stacy, almost called her Stacy Faust, but Stacy Riley, with her kiddos. We keep in mind that our families at home, they're working and providing support for their kiddos, and so are our staff members. So, Stacy's a great example there of, providing support for her kiddos and also providing support for her students. So just a kudos, shout out to Stacy. Expenses by major object kind of gives you a little picture there of the changes from 1920 to 2021 in each area. Look, in instruction, we're still, now obviously because you have benefits and salaries and things like that, but we are adding 2 teachers. So instruction, all said and done, you're actually, increasing that area a little bit. support areas. You got the little transportation cut that we did there with the leases and things like that. So, and moving some of the technology items. But, the big drop you see there is capital improvements. We really, last year had 46,500 budgeted in the regular operating budget. We're looking this year at 11,600 because we're looking to use CARES funding and some project funds for that. So there is a potential also, I think I mentioned this at some point, about doing a refi. I've been working with Brad Remig already on what that looks like for the fall of 2020. So we do anticipate to do some refis that are positive for us and establish actually a legitimate capital improvement fund that we can carry on for a number of years. So, but that we'll talk about in the future. So that just gives you an idea there. And this, we at I'll say the high school level are recognizing regularly our spring student athletes. And that is that Schlofer, I think. Thank you. I can't think of his first name.
It's Mason Schlofer.
Mason Schlofer, thank you.
Yep.
So there we go. He made the cut. There he is. Wayne? Thank you. Oh, wow. Well, that was quick. So the next steps for budget, this is probably the toughest budget I've ever done because we're in this total crystal ball mode right now. I think it's fairly responsible at this point, knowing what we know. So the next step, we are requesting approval of the proposed final budget this evening. Lois and I will certainly be monitoring, and I know board members, some of you are connected in with, PSBA and things like that. We'll all be monitoring some kind, any changes in guidance there, and we'll reflect that. We'll communicate that with you, and then we'll look at a final approval, hopefully in June. Pictures here, you just see some of the various things that are happening as well. I don't want to go into detail. Whew. Questions or comments?
Question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we always put the budget out, places for people to view it, which isn't really going to work this year because every place we used to put it is places that people can't go. So what do we have to do legally, to put it out for the public?
Well, you're going to be putting it on your website for one, which is the most clear thing. And there's nothing that stops you from having it at places like the Borough Hall. I presume that they've got some availability. But you can't do more than you can do.
We will certainly email it out to those, but Dale, you're right. I don't know if Borough Hall, I don't think they even are allowing public in from what I understand.
The only part by Borough Hall that's open is the police station. The little foyer in the police station, that's the only part that's open to the public.
So if you're arrested, you could see it. No, I didn't say
Or
that.
if you're dropping off food for the food bank because they have a box there.
Right.
That's the only way.
Okay, well, you know what we'll do, Dale, thank you. Because what we'll do is we'll make sure we formalize those emails out to them with receipts so that we do know that they received it at least. And, maybe they can post it on their websites as well. I think that would be a great idea. So if that's what we'll do. Lois, what's wrong?
We need to advertise where we have it. So that was on my list to figure out where when we make the ad that tells where you can get it, so we can actually put the email in as where they go and email it back to them.
Okay, so you know what? Well, I think what we'll do is we will ask those same places to post on their websites because that would correlate, in my mind, at least to them posting at their location. And in this kind of time frame, hopefully that will suffice. But thank you, Dale. I really appreciate that. I really wasn't even thinking about that at this point. Thank you. Okay, well, thank you for allowing me to do that presentation at this point, and I'll keep you posted as things develop. Thank you, board.
Moving on to 8C, Building and Grounds, Mr. Spengler.
Thank you. We did have a Building and Grounds Committee meeting on Wednesday night, and we talked about some of the summer projects, and we received a stadium project update, which that is, moving along within the guidelines and timeframes of COVID-19 era here. But they have done a number of their borings, and the next step is to really do this general design work, but really the most significant issue as far as design right now is designing the stormwater management component of that. So that's happening. And Lois, do you have anything else you want to highlight from that meeting? Or Dale?
No, I think that was about it.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Moving on to D, policy, Mr. Nur. Policy,
I
Mr.
have
Nur.
nothing for tonight.
Thank you. 8E, athletics, Mr. Mall.
Yes, thank you. We had our athletics committee meeting last Wednesday as well. We kind of just gave an update from the PIAA standpoint where they have a shutdown through the end of June, June 30th at this point. We are, as Bob showed in a bunch of the slides, we are honoring all of our spring sports student athletes on all of our social media sites, and in the process right now of doing our end of the year awards ceremony, which is going to be a video. And last week we did fall sports signups on a Google Doc. High school numbers were really good with the participation, which I was actually really happy with. We're going to try to do it again at the middle school over the next week or two. The information was sent out to all the fall sports coaches. We've had 2 Zoom meetings with all the coaches to kind of update them on what's going on. And athletics is like anything else. We're just in a holding pattern, waiting to see what happens next. We did couple items. We do have Colonial League Academic All-Stars where a male and female from each school gets recognized. Normally we have a breakfast at Green Pond Country Club where all the kids are honored. That obviously didn't happen, but Katie Verena and Mason Schlofer were our 2 selections for this year. And Zach Shire is going to be our wrestling scholar athlete. And normally there was a banquet for that, which obviously also is not happening. So we're trying to do as much of the end of the year stuff as we can, try to make it as, normal as possible. And we're just, doing what we can at this point. So it's pretty much the athletics update.
Thank you. 8F, Carbon Lehigh Intermediate Unit number 21, Mr. Dietrich.
Thank you. We had a meeting on April 20th of 2020. Nothing really new to report. We're just trying to keep the boat afloat, as they say. I did want to more of an acknowledgement. I wanted to reiterate what Bob had said about the budget, where there was no increase from the IU for this fiscal year. And I also wanted to give a kudos out to the IU because they are essentially running point, being the point people for the state when they're dealing with the local districts. So that's in this pandemic timeframe. So they're doing a lion's share of that heavy lifting, and I just an acknowledgement to that.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
8G, Borough of Catasauqua, Mr. Hine.
Yes, I participated online with their meeting last week, and there was a few items. First one, the borough taxes, they're going to charge no late fees up until the end of the year, so that any taxes paid, up to the end of the year, there'll be no late fees. They will test the water supply for COVID-19. I don't really, know if that's possible, but they are going to test the water supply at the borough. There is going to be a agreement of sale for the Ironworks property in their June meeting. And then 30 days after that, the council will probably get a final sale agreement to vote on. So possibly by July, the property on Front Street could be sold, and that'll be good because it'll go back onto the tax rolls, because presently we're receiving no taxes for that property down there. And that's about, oh, and the other thing is with the tax collection, the tax collector was participating in the meeting, and he announced that he is not taking taxes at his home in person. You can either mail them to the tax collector, or you can drop them. I guess he has a slot in his door that you can drop his taxes in. So I assume that'll be the same since he collects for our taxes. You know, he won't personally receive taxes, but you can either mail them in, or he said there's a slot there. That's it.
Okay, thank you. 8H, Borough of North Catasauqua, Mr. Bashaw.
Nothing at this time, Carol.
Thank you. 8I, Hanover Township, Mrs. Reed.
The only thing there is that there's 2 properties on Cascade Drive. I think it's 100 Cascade Drive, and I actually think the other number is 200. They actually sold the week of, I think it was March 20th, which we have not, to my knowledge, received that transfer tax, but that's going to be a big transfer tax. It's the last big property that we've seen sold, but they did close on the 20th of March.
Thank you. 8J, PSBA liaison update, Mr. Panto.
Well, there's quite a bit of traffic that PSBA has been publishing, and it's all basically everything that we've heard and have been dealing with for the last several months. Legislation that deals with school fund or meals funding, and how the Department of Ed has been facing the Corona crisis. So it's basically, we've heard the message. Mr. Spengler's kept us updated in a lot of the things that have impacted us from the state. There probably will be no conference this year on location. In fact, I'm a member of a couple of associations, and we just heard another one today. One that we actually presented about, our school-based outpatient, it's going to go virtual this year, and is just from the standpoint of not collecting a bunch of people in the same place at the same time in September or October. So we continue to track those things. One of the things that I thought was kind of more of an interest than anything else was we are among the 220 school districts that created a resolution for charter school funding. And there aren't many in our area. So, you know, as a district to take a position on that, which is what PSBA, you know, has asked us to do, I think is a responsible thing. So that's our report for tonight.
Thank you. 8K, Lehigh Career and Technical Institute update. We met April 24th virtually. The counselors are continuing with contacting students to see how they are. That's it for me. Nine, approval of minutes from prior meetings. A school board meeting held on April 14th, 2020. 10, approval of treasurer's report for April 2020. 11, approval of budget transfers 2020 for April 2020. Approval of payment of all AP bills, May 2020. And 13, approval to ratify all other expenses than AP, April 2020. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Dwayne Dietrich.
Second, Jillian Emmert.
This is a roll call, please.
Sean McGinley,
Yes.
Lauren Cieslak,
Yes.
Jillian Emmert,
Yes.
Dale Heim,
Yes.
Jason Bashaw,
Yes.
Dwayne Dietrich,
Yes.
Donald Panto,
Yes.
and Carol Cunningham.
Yes. Moving on to financial, 14A, approval of Catasauqua Quarry School District Final Budget 2020-21 proposed. Do I have a motion?
So moved, Dwayne Dietrich.
Second, Jason Bashel.
Carol,
What?
this is Dave. Could I just make a brief comment at this point?
Sure.
I just wanted to address what we talked about earlier. It's been our policy that we post this thing in various locations, but that is not a requirement of the law. The law requires that we make it available for public inspection and duplication. That's all you have to do. You have to advertise it at least 10 days before you adopt it, and you have to make it available for somebody to see it and copy it at least 20 days before.
Mhm.
But as long as, if you're making it available, somebody calls you, you'll send it to them, or if you put it on your website and they can download it and see it, or any other way that they can physically get a hold of it, that is sufficient. It doesn't have to be in anybody else's office or on anybody else's bulletin board or anything else.
Thank you.
I suggest then that we just put it on our website. Since, people really won't be able to see it, at the places we used to put it.
I think that's a great idea, Dale.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you.
And possibly leverage social media as well to point back to the website.
Good point.
This is a roll call, please.
Dwayne Dietrich,
Yes.
Lauren Cieslak,
Yes.
Jason Bashaw,
Yes.
Jillian Emmert.
Yeah.
Donald Panto,
Yes.
Sean McGinley,
Yes.
Dale Heim,
Yes.
and Carol Cunningham.
Yes. Moving on to first personnel, 15A, approval of FMLA for employee number 2299. 15B, resignations. 15C, summer custodial worker. And I'll stop there.
So moved, Dwayne Dietrich.
Second, Lauren Cieslak.
This is a roll call, please.
Donald Panto,
Yes.
Sean McGinley,
Yes.
Jason Bashaw,
Yes.
Jillian Emmert,
Yes.
Dale Heim,
Yes.
Lauren Cieslak,
Yes.
Dwayne Dietrich,
Yes.
and Carol Cunningham.
Yes. Moving into 16, curriculum. A, approval for Catasauqua High School personal finance course offering 0.5 credit hours, 60 hours for implementation in the fall semester of the 2021-22 school year, a graduation requirement, and I'll stop there.
So moved, Dwayne Dietrich.
I have a
Second. Oh,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna second, but you can go with your question.
Yeah, just a question. I know we talked about this in committee. Does this guarantee us the $10,000 grant, or is that competitive?
Christina, I think it's competitive, but Christina, confirm, please.
My screen froze. I'm sorry if I missed something.
That's okay. Hey, Christina, is the grant for the personal finance course, Is that a competitive grant? So we're not guaranteed yet to get it, correct?
We are not guaranteed. I believe, I can't remember the number of grants that have been awarded, but there were still quite a few to go out. And I did reach out to the chief, the CFO of the organization. I did tell them that we had this on our agenda for tonight, and he said he was anxiously awaiting our board minutes. So I'm hopeful that we will be one of the schools approved to receive the grant. So as soon as I can send those minutes in, I will.
Thank you.
Super.
This is a roll call, please.
Dwayne Dietrich,
Yes.
Donald Panto,
Yes.
Lauren Cieslak,
Yes.
Jillian Emmert,
Yes.
Jason Bashaw,
Yes.
Sean McGinley,
Yes.
Dale Hine,
Yes.
and Carol Cunningham.
Yes. Moving into 17, board approvals. 17A, acceptance of resignation of Stephen Becker from the nominated position of School Board Director, CASD, effective immediately. And 17B, appointment of new board member to fill vacancy. Do I have a nomination?
I, Lauren Cieslak, I'd like to nominate Christy Cooper to fill the position of the vacant board member.
Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, nominations are closed. Please say the name of Christy Cooper when your name is called.
So just a quick point of order. Are we taking, so when we do that, are we then positively accepting Stephen Becker's resignation as well?
Yes,
We should do that first.
okay. Well, roll call on 17A, please.
On 17A, not on
Yeah.
17, okay.
Do you need a motion?
17A.
And the motion.
Also move to
I
make
need a
a,
motion.
so move Sean McGinley.
Second, Wayne Dietrich.
This is a roll call, please.
Lauren Cieslak,
Yes.
Jillian Emmert,
Yes.
Jason Bashaw,
Yes.
Sean McGinley,
Yes.
Dale Hine,
Yes.
Donald Panto,
Yes.
Dwayne Dietrich,
Yes.
and Carol Cunningham.
Yes. 17B, appointment of new board member to fill vacancy. We had a motion on this.
Nomination.
So
Do I hear a motion?
So move Dwayne Dietrich.
Second, Jillian Emmert.
This is a roll call, please, and say the name Christy Cooper when your name is called.
Dwayne Dietrich,
Christy Cooper.
Jillian Emmert,
Christy Cooper.
Dale Hine,
Christy Cooper.
Jason Bashaw,
Christy Cooper.
Lauren Cieslak,
Christy Cooper.
Sean McGinley,
Christy Cooper.
Donald Panto,
Christy Cooper.
Carol Cunningham.
Christy Cooper. Congratulations, Christy.
Congratulations.
17C, approval of facilities plan committee report of the CLIU number 21. 17D, grant applications 2020-2021 school year. 17E, sorry, approval of YMCA use of school buses for summer camp trips pending state and or local COVID-19 guidance. 17F, approval of 2020-2021 game worker rates. 17G, approval of 2020-2021 game ticket prices. 17H, approval for renewal of administrative services agreement with PNC Bank. And 17I, approval of additional van bus stops. Do I hear a motion?
So moved, Dwayne Dietrich.
Second,
Jillian Emmert.
Any discussion? If not, this is a roll call, please.
Lauren C. Slack,
yes.
Sean McGinley,
Yes.
Jason Bashaw,
Yes.
Dale Hine,
Yes.
Jillian Emmert,
Yes.
Donald Panto,
Yes.
Dwayne Dietrich,
Yes.
and Carol Cunningham.
Yes. We'll take old business, new business, accommodations, information items, and correspondence together. We'll start with Mrs. Cochran.
I just would like to hope that everybody had a nice Mother's Day celebration and a happy Memorial Day. I'll be here before you know it.
Yes, it will. Thank you. Mr. Caress.
Just a few quick things. We have some major upgrades coming to our Power School student information system. Even though the server itself is maintained by Carbon Lehigh, the new versions that are coming out required us to make some changes in our end with some security protocols and so on. So we got that all taken care of this week. And this coming weekend will be the first of the two major upgrades. We're going from what's called Power School 14 to 19, which will give us some new features. And then sometime this summer, we'll be going to Power School 20, which I've been told that we're really going to be dazzled by. So we'll have to see how, what it all entails, but that's all on board now. Something else I've been working on this week, we have some big changes to our food service solutions system that manages the cafeterias. I was working with them today, and we're pretty far with that. And over probably in the next week or so, we'll be switched over to a new platform with them. And that's about all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Mall.
I basically went through all my stuff during my part of the meeting. Just everyone stay safe, and when we get our videos and everything done, I'll make sure everyone gets it sent to them.
Thank you. Mr. Dauberman.
Yeah, I just want to mention quickly that our teachers continue to do an outstanding job considering the circumstances, and I want to publicly thank all of them. They're really trying their best to manage everything that's been thrown at them, and they've been getting lots of great feedback. So I'd like to recognize our teachers for that. We are getting a ton of applications for our openings. The deadline for submission is this Friday. So we'll take a look at those on Friday or Saturday, actually, and then we'll start narrowing those down, and we'll start some, I believe, online interviews with the committee that we're building. So that's going to be an interesting endeavor for the first time ever. So I'll get back to you on that to tell you how that's going next meeting. Tomorrow, Sheckler's teachers will have a Trauma 101 training. Thank you, Shelley and Christina, for setting that up. And I'd like to thank all people involved who were responsible for financing, and getting up and running eventually all the add-ons that we're going to have to Power School, specifically for registration. I've been having some sleepless nights over this kindergarten registration trying to figure this out. But I know that now that we have this add-on to Power School, that we're going to be able to do it remotely and virtually. And anytime Wayne's involved, it makes me puts me to sleep and makes me not worry so much. So I know he's going to get that up and running for us. So I appreciate that. Other than that, that's about all I have to add to say.
Thank you. Miss Inselman.
There we go. Just to say a couple things here. One, a happy belated Mother's Day to all the mothers on the school board. I hope everyone had a great, enjoyable day on Sunday. We had beautiful weather, so that was a nice little treat for mothers. Just to give you an update regarding applications, tomorrow is the deadline in which our applications are due for the AP position, and then also several positions that we have to fill for retirements. And we'll start that process, and I can keep everyone updated on how we're doing with that. Just to also publicly recognize our teachers for doing a tremendous job. I remain in awe and very impressed with how our teachers have pivoted and learned an online platform for delivering instruction. So just to do a little shout out to our teachers for doing a tremendous job. Also, tomorrow we have our first curbside pickup for student belongings. That is 7th grade, and the hours will be between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. Families will be able to come to the middle school, and they're conducting a curbside pickup. So we will hand off their belongings, student belongings, and then also accept any type of textbooks or library books or anything that may be owed back to the district at that time. And then we have on Friday a 6th grade curbside pickup. And then the following week on Wednesday, we have 5th grade. And then last that Friday, the 22nd, we have 8th grade. And then that would complete then returning all student belongings, and teachers are coming into the building. I have a system in place where we systematically schedule the amount of teachers in at one time and locations of where they'll be placed accordingly. So they're staying 6 feet away from each other and abiding by all CDC guidelines. So that process is going very well with cleaning out teacher classrooms. And then also we are working on our 4th grade virtual orientation tour. We're in the process of working on our 8th grade promotion slide. And lastly, we're getting information out to our students about the virtual talent show. So we're working hard at the middle school, and just want to say thank you to you all for your support as well as we've been through this process.
Thank you. Mrs. Capper.
Hi, I just wanted to say, give a shout out to our special education teachers. I think they've had to learn a lot of different venues and a lot of different ways to get to their students and develop things, curriculum that meets all kinds of different levels of students. And I think that they've done a really great job in each school trying to manage their caseload and helping those students. So just a shout out to the special ed teachers.
Thank you. Mr. Schnug.
I want to join everybody who's been talking about the positive things our teachers have been doing lately. I know last week was Teacher Appreciation Week, and I shared with staff, I truly believe people are appreciating teachers more now than they have in recent years, just with all the stuff that has come at them and how quickly we've been able to change our focus. And I think parents are now seeing what it takes to be an educator and keep kids engaged for a long period of time. I know I'm learning it myself as I'm trying to keep an elementary school student engaged. It's certainly not easy, and it certainly makes you appreciate everything that our teachers do. So I just wanted to thank them for that. I also want to thank the board tonight for approving the personal finance course. That's going to work out great. It's going to fit right into our matrix, and it's actually going to also, on top of hopefully bringing in some money, it's a skill that our kids need. And on top of that, it actually will open up another social studies course for us, a possible elective for 21-22. So thank you so much for that. I also wanted to go and give a shout out to CHS students. Our attendance during this has been nothing short of phenomenal. It exceeded expectations drastically, and I'm very proud of them for that. I was not expecting the attendance numbers to be in as low as what they are. So kudos to all of them. They're doing a fantastic job as well. And tomorrow morning, our staff will also be going through the Trauma 101 training that Sheckler's going through. Our staff is ready for that. And I'm happy to say today was the day we began filming a little bit of our end of year celebrations. So as soon as those become public, we'll let everybody know about it. So thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Letts Demling.
Yes, I would first just like to thank the board for your support in, providing funding for our instructional programs. We are participating in our ELA program training, the first one that will take place tomorrow. I'd also like to commend our administrative team for their leadership, as well as our teachers and support staff for their implementation of our continuity of education plan. Everybody is really doing an amazing job. So it's incredible to see everyone's efforts and how everything came together so quickly. And finally, I just wanted to share that Kathy Cochran, Eric Doberman, Ron DeMeo, and I are partnering with Step by Step Learning and Waterford Learning. And we are working on setting up free online K-2 programming for students that will assist in developing critical foundational skills in the area of literacy, science, and math. And we hope to offer these licenses to our students over the summer through August 30th at no charge.
Thank you. Ms. Sterner.
Kudos to the administration and teachers and staff for an amazing job during this crazy time. Hope we all learned something from it, but it's a terrible way to get thrown into it. Just keep safe and healthy, everybody. Thanks.
You're welcome. Mr. McGinley.
Just in light of Teacher Appreciation Week, again, thank you to the teachers. Like I said before, going into this, I was expecting online education and thought it was gonna be more of just kind of click and fill it out and submit it, but the personalization that the teachers did and how they actually brought the classroom to the students remotely was amazing. Again, the special education teachers, special recognition for them, like you said, to follow IEPs and adaptations and do stuff remotely with the needs and following all the guidelines is extremely difficult, especially being married to a special ed teacher. I kind of know what she's going through, and to not miss a beat and keep on with that education is just truly remarkable. So thank you to all the teachers and administration for that.
Thank you. Mr. Bashaw.
I'm going to repeat what a lot of people have been saying, but I really do have to commend the teachers and the administrators and the students during this tough time. They're all doing a fantastic job. I'm hearing great stories and seeing great things happen, from giving out our food to, the lessons to, the planning of the budget to everything that we're doing right now. I also want to compliment our technology. These virtual meetings have been seamless, and I really appreciate everything that's going on. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Panta.
Just daily inspired by the resiliency of all the people that I get to work with. Making it up as we go along, sitting in this school arena, and learning from all of you in terms of how you're running through walls every day with no playbook. It's pretty cool actually to see. I mean, unfortunately that, we're dealing with a lot of people being sick, and that is certainly a negative, but there's a lot of inspiring things that are done. Our SROs are just lifting everybody up every day. And even in my work arena, same deal. I mean, just people doing smart things, helping other people out, and making it look easy. So I'm really inspired by it, and thank you.
Thank you. Miss Emmert.
I just want to say thank you to all the teachers for all their hard work. And I love watching all the videos and the clips. It's very entertaining to see kids in their natural environment and their relaxed home environment. And to all the principals and administrators, thank you so much for all the support that you're giving to the teachers to make them be able to shine for us.
Thank you. Mrs. Cecilak.
I'm going to repeat a lot of what others have said already, but yes, definitely happy Teacher Appreciation to our teachers. They are working so hard to bring the classroom to our students in so many creative ways. They're staying in touch with our kids, letting them know that they're still there and care about them. They're giving them feedback, holding our kids accountable, and making sure that, you know, they're growing in this really difficult time. You know, and we really appreciate all of the hard work that they're putting into it, as well as the administrators for supporting them. So thank you. It really makes us Catty proud.
Thank you. Is Reed. I'm going blindly here.
I just would like to thank actually the Catasauqua community. Running the Catasauqua Cares program, the C3P program, I've gotten a lot of donations from individuals, different groups. Our drama department, who couldn't have their play, took and donated everything that they had planned to sell at their snack stand to the program. The middle school snack shack did the same thing. And I'm going to forget because there's just been so many reached out to make that all possible. So I just want to acknowledge that, you know, it's very heartwarming to see the support.
Thank you. Mr. Dietrich.
What hasn't been said already, I'm gonna kudos to everybody on their, from students to teachers to administrators to counselors to everyone, really, for their perseverance and their dedication. Like Don said, just running through walls without any plan. It's amazing to kind of sit back and watch and just see what a small community can be such a powerful community. So
Thank you.
other than that, happy belated Mother's Day.
Thank you. Mr. Spangler.
Okay. Well, first of all, happy belated Mother's Day to all the moms. Mothers are playing so many roles right now. It's just kind of incredible. I was thinking the other day, it's, you know, how's an organization defined? And, you know, as I watch what's going on throughout our country and the world, it's like, really, in times of crisis, I think an organization can be defined. You're defined how you handle it. You're defined by the composure that you show. You're defined by the expectations that you set. You're defined by the leadership that you show, you know, what type of leadership and things like that. So crisis really defines an organization and its stakeholders. And by, you know, stakeholders, I mean all of us, our teachers, our support staff, our community, our police officers, our nonprofits, our local churches, all of our organizations, you know, our entire district, every individual. And, you know, it's like, what strikes me is, I think we're defined by compassion, by a caring attitude, by being child-centered, by being community-minded, being resilient, responsive, and determined. And everything I've heard today, you know, and I've seen, and not just by us, but by all of our partners and by all of our stakeholders, shows and demonstrates all of that. What more can we ask for? You know, this is a road that we have not traveled before, but we keep with and maintain our core beliefs, and we travel the road with those by our side. And I'm very proud to be right alongside with all of you. It's not one person, it's all of us together. And hey, that's how we do it here in Catty. So thank you, everyone. Anybody who's watching the meeting, you know, stakeholders, you're all part of it. So great job. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. I was remiss when I sent out my email for Teacher Appreciation Week to not mention the guidance counselors. I love what they're doing for students. And I'm kudos to the administrators, the teachers, the staff, the entire staff. Kudos to you. Recognition of guests and visitors. Do we
There are
have
no-
anybody, Kathy?
No, there are no comments, and we had 6 viewers on YouTube.
Good. Meeting dates, Thursday, June 11th, 7:00 PM, school board meeting. All meetings listed above will be held in the district administration office boardroom
Or not.
or not. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved, Dwayne Dietrich.
Second?
Second, Dale Hein.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's it?
All right. Thanks,
Thank you,
everybody.
Board. Have a great night.
You too.
You too.
Thank you. Bye.
safe.
Bye.
Good
Lauren,
night.
Lauren, before you go, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Hey, can you send me the information